You unlock this door with the key of the unknown. Beyond it is another dimension, a dimension of strange, a dimension of unusual, a dimension of weird. You're moving into a land of both lost and found things at the same time. You just crossed over into lost media. Point Calumet, 1994. Amid the hustle and bustle of a small town not too far away from Montreal, Super Aqua Club was a small water park with slides not that impressive. Now, something would be added that season that would change all that. The time is now, on an evening very much like the one we have just witnessed. Tonight's story on Lost Media is somewhat unique and calls for a different kind of introduction. This, as you may recognize, is Squalls, a pro-side freefall buy-side, still in operation, waiting for you. We invite you, if you dare, to watch until the end, because in tonight's episode, I'm Cowboy Coasters, and you're watching Lost Media Episode 2.
You may now know Super Aqua Club today as the second largest water park in Quebec, just behind Valcartier. But things weren't always like that. Super Aqua Club opened in 1985, and at that time, the water park scene in Quebec was fairly new. Valcartier wasn't the large water park we know today, Bromont was just getting started, and Cascade d'Eau de Piedmont still had its original water slides. When Super Aqua Club first opened, all that they really had to offer was their Tarzan swing, their wave pool, their lazy river Le Marais, now known as Rivière Zéphyr, Ancienne Rivière Sauvage, now known as Rivière Sauvage, Nouvelle Rivière Sauvage, now known as Alizé, the Twisters or Serpentin et Turbo, and the Drop-Offs or Super Chute. Throughout the 2000s and 2010s, Super Aqua Club would receive bigger, taller, and faster water slides, and rapidly expand into one of the largest water parks in the area. They added slides such as Tornade, Tsunami, and Typhon. But our story doesn't start at Super Aqua Club. It starts in Montreal, back when Super Aqua Club was still new.
Quand vous entendez « Viens faire plouf », c'est de l'Aqua-Parc dont il est question. Et l'Aqua-Parc, c'est Daniel Larreau qui pourrait peut-être nous parler un peu de ce que ça nous réserve cet été.
Oui, en premier lieu, je vais préciser que c'est l'Aqua-Parc de la Ronde, il y en a juste un. Et effectivement, cette année, on a un forfait qui vous donne droit à l'Aqua-Parc et à la Ronde, qui est un forfait combiné, qui est de 20 $ pour les adultes et 13 $ pour les enfants. Mais l'Aqua-Parc a son tarif. Pour une pleine journée, c'est 13 $ pour les adultes et 9 $ pour les enfants aux 1 mois.
Daniel, quelles sont les nouveautés ou les améliorations qui ont été apportées à l'Aqua-Parc cette année?
D'accord. Alors, cette année, on s'est surtout fait un réaménagement, c'est-à-dire l'an passé, c'était la construction. Alors, on a aménagé le coin des enfants et notre terrasse qui est située à l'autre endroit. Et surtout le tarif combiné aussi, qui est une première, et c'est notre première journée aujourd'hui.
Now, I won't spend too much time on this topic, since Sylvain Brousseau did a whole video about it. You can go watch it by clicking on the link in the description. But if you don't speak French, here's a brief history. On May 31st, 1985, A water park called Aqua-Park opened right next door to La Ronde. This project was a $7 million investment by Pinsonneau, Amel, and Anderson, a company which would go on to become Aqua-Park Canada Inc. They signed a 17-year lease with the City of Montreal. At the end of this contract, the city would own Aqua-Park's assets. The water slides were designed by Calgary-based ProTech and manufactured by Big Country, now known as Waterfun. Aqua-Park featured 20 water slides across 5 towers. Le Mini-Rail even passed through the water slides and through a waterfall structure. Also, the changing rooms resembled pyramids. One of them is still at La Ronde today, but has been converted into a food stand. Aqua-Park featured many notable water slides. Here's a few of them. Bonsai was a set of 3 60-foot-tall triple-down water slides reaching speeds of 50 kilometers per hour in 10 seconds. Express was a set of 3 78-foot-tall free-fall body slides reaching speeds of 75 kilometers per hour in 4 to 5 seconds. Kamikaze was a set of 3 water slides, 2 of them with twists and turns with some enclosed portions, and the middle one just being a straight drop. Tornade and Tire-Bouchon were a set of 4 elevated body slides, and Mont Blanc was a multi-pool tube slide. Former Prime Ministers of Canada Pierre Elliott Trudeau and his son Justin Trudeau even went to Aqua-Park when it was still brand new. A Phase 2 was considered for 1986, which would have included a wave pool in which you could surf. Unfortunately, the first season didn't go as planned, so these plans were shelved, but ultimately cancelled. Unfortunately, Aqua-Park ran into financial issues and struggled to cover their costs for the 1986 and 1987 season. This resulted in the City of Montreal buying Aqua-Park on April 1988 for $3.6 million, half the price it originally cost to build. Expecting yearly revenues of $600,000 annually, the city thought they could repay their loan in under 6 years. I think Sylvain Brousseau explains it best.
Bon, t'as un truc qui doit être vendu moitié prix 3 ans après son ouverture et tu penses pouvoir le rentabiliser en 6 ans. Soyons sérieux.
In 1990, the City of Montreal was owning Aqua-Park for 3 years. Theoretically, they should have had profits of $1.8 million. But at the end of the 1990 seasons, these profits were exactly $0. After the 1990 season, attendance dropped constantly year after year, and at the end of the 1990 season, La Ronde was considering demolishing or selling Aqua-Park to use the land for something else. But it was decided to keep the water park as long as they didn't have a clear plan on the horizon. In 1992, 60,000 out of the expected 505,000 guests would make it through the turnstiles, resulting in a financial loss of $400,000. 1993 would be the last season for Aqua-Park. After this, it was dismantled and sold to Super Aqua Club for $210,000. If you visit the plot nowadays at La Ronde, you will find Vampire, Titan, and Disco Ronde. Usually, the story would end there, but the real mystery is what happened to these slides at Super Aqua Club. And that's the reason you clicked on this video. Despite being super well documented at La Ronde, when Aqua-Parc came to Super Aqua Club, no further information has ever surfaced. But thanks to the limited footage we have and a few clues, I was able to gather a bit of information about the slide's life at Super Aqua Club. Unlike most water parks, which would buy 1, 2, or even 3 water slides of a defunct water park, Super Aqua Club bought all of them. That's right, all of them. Mont Blanc, Tornade, Tire-Bouchon, Kamikaze, Express, and Bonsai were all relocated to Super Aqua Club, where they would reopen for the 1994 season. The thing is, you can't just move an entire water park into another water park. You need to do some modifications, and that's exactly what Super Aqua Club did. Before the slides were even relocated, the waterfall structure for Le Mini-Rail was demolished. And let's be honest, Super Aqua Club didn't even need to relocate that thing since they didn't even have a monorail, unlike La Ronde. But the biggest modifications were to the slide structures themselves. At La Ronde, Mont Blanc and Bonsai shared the same water slide structure, but to fit their new location at Super Aqua Club, they were separated. Bonsai was put right next to Express, and Mont Blanc was its own singular water slide structure in another corner of the park. But that's really the only modifications that was given to the slides. For the longest time, the only evidence we ever had to these water slides existing at Super Aqua Club was in a 2001 commercial, in which we saw Express for a very brief moment. Yes, this was our only evidence for decades, until 2025, when Michel Ducharme uploaded a home video on YouTube of Super Aqua Club in 1994, and in it, we saw the other water slides. With this video, we can establish a pretty interesting pattern. When the water slides opened at La Ronde, they were all white. Here's a picture of Aqua-Parc at La Ronde in 1993 when they closed. We can see that despite the low quality image, they were repainted blue. And Michel Ducharme's video tells us that even in 1994, when these slides were moved to Super Aqua Club, they stayed blue. But the 2001 commercial, in which we saw Express, has them white. Yes, that means that when they originally opened at La Ronde, they were white, they were repainted blue in their final years. Super Aqua Club kept them blue when they relocated them, and in 2001 or around that time, they were repainted back to their original color. Michel Ducharme's video has saved these water slides from becoming lost media. This is not the full video, however. The rest of the video shows the rest of Super Aqua Club. I will link it in the description down below if you guys are interested. Unfortunately, the footage you're seeing right now is only of Mont Blanc. The rest of Michel Ducharme's video does not show the other Aqua Park water slides outside of Tornade and Tire-Bouchon in the background. This means that Bonsai and Kamikaze are still lost media, and we only know Express existed thanks to the 2001 commercial. Although we can't confirm it because of lack of information, these water slides were a huge success for Super Aqua Club, inspired them to build even bigger, taller, and faster water slides. But the Aqua-Parc package would last until 2002, and the rest of the story is quite interesting. In 2003, Super Aqua Club underwent renovations. These renovations asked for brand new water slides, and Super Aqua Club decided to sacrifice the entirety of the Aqua-Parc package. This meant the Express was replaced with Rafale or Squalls, Bonsai was replaced with Sirocco, Tornade and Tire-Bouchon were replaced with Mistral, and Mont Blanc was replaced with Sonora. You know, the Aqua/Water slide. All these replacements were manufactured by ProSlide and reused their predecessor's structure. And out of all of these, Mistral is the most similar to its predecessor. And today, there is no trace left of Super Aqua Club's lost Aqua-Parc package.
A warm welcome back to those of you who made it, and a friendly word of warning, something you won't find in any archives. The next time a water slide opens, make sure to document it as thoroughly as possible, or it may find itself becoming a permanent resident of lost media.
Thank you so much for watching the second episode of Lost Media. This one was even more packed than the previous one, and I had a lot of fun making it. If you haven't already, please make sure to subscribe to this channel, enable notifications, and give me a like. It would be very appreciated. But until then, I'm Callaway Coasters, feel the grip of Vortex, and I'll see you all in the next one.